Yo, welcome back to another episode of PVT, and I'm here with my guy, DJ Micah B. What's going on, man?
Happy PVT Thursday, because I didn't get to say Happy Gentleman's Talk Wednesday yesterday, but I am here. Got big announcement coming at the end of this episode, but bro, the Olympics are fire.
Crazy. Now, I know y'all don't see my boy Willie on screen right now. He did get off a little late, so he's running a little empty on the tank. You know what I'm saying? Got to get some shut-eye so he can get up for work tomorrow morning because, you know, money make the world go round and we all got to pay them bills. So shout out to my boy Will. Y'all going to see him back in this show next month. We are supposed to have a few guests slide through. My boy OG Mel going to slide through. You're probably going to see him a little later. And I got my boy Dre Run. He probably going to end up sliding through in a few minutes. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into a few things before we get into the meat and potatoes, i.e. the Olympics. Let's talk a little bit of football, DJ.
You talking my language. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. So starting off, as we know, training camp kind of gets crazy, right? Pads is on, a lot of contact, there's a lot of shit talking. Now, with that comes a lot of the camp fights, man, and we've had a lot of camp fights. Giants, Seahawks, Houston. It's just a whole bunch of stuff been going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on camp fights, man? Do you think that they solve anything, or do you think that they're needed as far as bringing in that team camaraderie? What's your thoughts on camp fights?
I think camp fights are needed because what is going to happen is, you know, you got alphas on teams. Okay, so basically what happens is you, as an alpha and as a player, you need somebody else to test your fortitude. You just need it. And there's no better way to test it than with a fight. You're not backing down out of, you better not back down out of a fight. And it's a good way to show your teammates, I ain't backing down from nobody.
That's true.
And your teammates will appreciate that. I'm just keeping it real. I mean, everybody fights. And if you have no fights at training camp, let me tell you something. You have no leaders. Absolutely have no leaders. And it's just, that's just how football works. You seen with Draymond and Jordan Poole. I mean, that was a cheap shot, so Draymond's still a bitch for that. But I mean, but look, we're not going to agree on everything. You're going to get some dirty shots in training camp because at the end of the day, the offense is trying to outplay the defense. The defense is trying to outplay the offense. And if somebody feels like you're showing them up, they might get into their feelings and give you a little push, and y'all gonna throw down. But you're going to respect each other even more after because you didn't back down.
Most definitely.
So yeah, I think it's needed. I think it's needed to bring the team closer. I think it's needed to for guys to establish themselves as alphas. Because I'm not gonna lie, if you're a beta male, you're probably not starting on an NFL team. I am not going to lie. There has been more drills in football that made basketball players, and there's been more drills in basketballs that made football players.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
We talked about it a few weeks ago.
Just yeah, they are definitely good. Because whether you win or lose a fight, you gain respect for sticking up for yourself, and it's definitely a test in training camp to see if you're gonna fold or if you're gonna stand up in adversity.
I think so.
I remember many years ago now, you know, good old Andre Johnson don't talk. He don't talk a lot. He don't say nothing. But boy, when he lost his cool against Cortland Finnegan, we see why nobody in the Houston Texans camp tried him, because they knew what time it was.
When you stand on business, it's a different game, right? It's a different mindset. Now, the thing about camp fights or just team fights in general, is one thing is, of course, there's a test of leadership, there's a test of fortitude where, you know, you have guys that are, you know, going to other guys. And like DJ said, you might have some cheap shots here and there. You might have some guys that are just tired of seeing each other because you're being around this specific person or being around a whole bunch of guys so much do the camp, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, to the point where you just get tired of seeing them, or they just do some weird little things to where you can't really let it go, whatever the case may be. So sometimes these things are necessary to the point where you guys, outside of the game of football, to where you guys are getting your aggression out. It's another form or another way to get your aggression out, and to handle something that needs to be handled that can't necessarily be handled on the field. And it does come to a respect thing, right? It does come to a kind of grit thing, right? Well, if you can, if you're gritty, if you're can fight your teammates, then I know what you'll do to the opponent is something next level. So I think they can be important to a certain extent. But the reason why I bring this up in particular is because we did have footage. I'm not going to show it on here, obviously, but we did have footage of DK Metcalf and the fight that he had recently got into at camp, and him, removing somebody's helmet and swinging it. And I don't know if this is like a move that niggas done talked about. I don't know if y'all like get together and discuss this shit, because after Myles Garrett, it's like everybody starting to take the helmet and use the helmet as a shoulder pads. Like, I get trying to remove the helmet in order.
I did not see this,
bro. Like, and I've seen like a few times. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on Instagram a few times. If I can find it again, I'll send it to you. But I'm just like, I don't understand the like, I get removing the helmet so you can expose the face, right? Remember, these are like 7.5 to 10 pound, essential weights in your hand, and you're swinging at another human being. So, there's that aspect of it. So if you're going to fight for respect, of course, definitely. But if y'all out there trying to hurt, your teammate, it's like, come on now at this point in time, saying now we're doing too much. And the using of equipment should never be a resort on the field. Like, if you can't settle it with your hands, then.
What did he use?
So what happened was, it was a scrum. You see DK grab, damn, I forgot the DB he grabbed, but he grabbed his helmet and then swung the helmet at the DB.
Did he hit him?
It looked like it to me. He ducked, but it looked like he kind of like grazed him. I was like, hey, I don't understand. I just don't get the use of the helmets. I understand the fights at camp. I just don't get the use of using equipment, because I've never thought of that. I've never thought of using somebody else's helmet to try to hit them. Like,
well, the fun in the fights at training camp is normally that helmets don't come off.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody grabs somebody's face mask and they lift them up and throw them down, and that, so that
ragdoll them a little bit.
Yeah, right. Just to show, like, hey, you're not stronger than me. You might want to chill out. But
exactly,
if you're ripping somebody's helmet off, or you taking your helmet off and swinging it, that's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. But yeah, I like we said, we understand camp fights. It's just, stop trying to take off the helmet. And if you take off the helmet, right? If you do take off the helmet, just throw it to the ground somewhere. Like, if you want to expose the face that bad to the point where now your punches can actually do something instead of punching a helmet, because I've always thought that was the dumbest thing ever. You guys are trying to punch helmets, and bro, this whole section right here, if you understand football, you know how pads work. This whole section right here, the midsection, is exposed. Ribs, stomach area.
Yeah, I'm taking body shots all day,
fellas. Okay, and I'm YouTube. We're not here to incite violence. We're not here to give people. But I'm just saying, okay, don't use the helmet as a weapon. If you're gonna swing at somebody with the helmet on because you were that upset, go for the body. Okay, go for the body, and on top of that, you're not likely to get caught. Just saying. But in other football news, going to the NCAA, and don't worry, we will get to Jim Harbaugh in a second. I'm hoping Mel gets here so talk about his the dirty laundry of his Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too.
Oh, we will definitely get into that. But before that, News on Colorado has came out again. Now, of course, Colorado has been faced or has been under the spotlight of a lot of scrutiny due to a lot of transfers out, a lot of kids hitting the transfer portal. So a lot of people are coming out with these reports saying, or reporting on the environment or the living quarters, just being on the Colorado campus and being a part of the Colorado football team. So one report said that they compared it to GTA, which is a crazy statement to say. Fights in the locker room, which if you understand football, if you understand being in a football team and being in a locker room, fights happen in the locker room all the time. People owing other people money, chains and stuff like this. Just a whole bunch of stuff going like that. People are saying that it is going on now. If you understand Deion and understand the type of person that he is, right? He is a highly religious person. He is a person that commands and commandeers so much respect. And this is a person that called out his players for calling calling women teachers out of their name. And not only did he bring those teachers in, but he brought in all of the women's staff and to make sure that they knew these women's names so that wouldn't happen again. So people are starting to put these rumors or starting to put these baseless allegations, right, under Deion and the team. And I think it's weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's kind of crazy. Main reason being is because when you look at all the stuff that's coming out, it's not about the program. It's not about about any type of scandal or anything. It's literally just people are trying to diminish Colorado and Deion's name. And I think it's just kind of crazy that people will stoop so low, because even with the Cole Cormani James situation, where he's coming out and he's saying it's like a photo shoot and it's like reality television and this and that, and they never gave me a fair shake and all of this other extra stuff. But you see that him even transferring out to another school, he's just still dealing with the same problems, not going to school, smoking, missing practice, late to practice.
Oh boy.
So you can't really say that it's this or it's that, or they treated me this way when, you go to another school and you're exhibiting the same problems. And so for me, when I hear these reports from these past players that didn't make it or weren't good enough to make the roster, Colorado, go to other schools and then want to badmouth Colorado because everybody wants to get the scoop. And, oh, well, you played at Colorado under Deion. You were there a few days. You were there a few months. How was it? And because they didn't make the team, or because they didn't make it, or because they couldn't.
I can't wait to comment on this.
Yeah, no, most definitely, because now they got all of this bad stuff to say about Deion, about Colorado, and about, oh, well, it's just like GTA and the locker room, and there's fights, and there's this, and there's that. But you're not telling them all the bad stuff that you did, right? You're not telling them how you were late for meetings, how you were late for practice, how you never went to class, how you got caught smoking weed and all the stuff like that, knowing that you can't be doing that. Like, keep it real. But DJ Michael B, what's your thoughts on this?
Let me ask a question real quick, Moo. How many people left Colorado and became stars? Exactly my point. What you're complaining about is bullshit. And let me tell you how I know it's bullshit. And let me tell you how I know you're full of shit. You're mad and you're disgruntled because Deion chose somebody else over you. You might have been a 4 or 3-star recruit. I don't give a damn what you was. And you're mad because you didn't get picked to be the starter or the second string. But here's diving into it even more. It's crazy how many people come out. All y'all are doing is feeding the media shit. And media loves when a black man is doing shit. It just, hey, I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm not trying to be racist, but media loves when a black coach is doing shit. Let me tell y'all something, bro. If you can't make it to Colorado when you're black, you're not going to make it anywhere else. You know how I know? Because Deion is a fantastic coach. His kids from elementary to high school, when he was coaching Pop Warner in high school will tell you he was a phenomenal coach. Everybody that played for him last year and the year before that and the year before that will tell you he's a phenomenal coach. He's a phenomenal coach. He's a phenomenal person. He's a God-fearing man. All that stuff tied into one. Deion is the perfect example of an individual who just wants to win and he's competitive. Just because your trash ass can't make the cut does not mean you come out and make up these fucking stories about Deion don't want you and Deion didn't give you a fair shake. Here's what I do know. Deion gives everybody a fair shake to prove their worth. Some of y'all just not going to make the cut. Every college athlete doesn't go pro. I mean, there's a reason why they came out with that commercial a long time ago with the NCAA players when they were like, not all NCAA players go pro in sports, but they go pro in somewhere else because we graduated at a high rate. Okay, graduate at a high rate, get your degree, move on. Bruh, you played college football. Only maybe 0.050% of the population in the world plays college sports. Like, bruh, the stat that comes to mind is the USA has the biggest high school field of athletes when it comes to football, basketball, whatever. 1% of all high school athletes go on to play either Division I or Division II. If we count Division III, I think it was like 1.5 last time I checked. Now I want y'all to think about the 100 millions of people that play high school football. And you get to 1%. That 1% is like 1,000 to 2,000 players making a college team in Division I or Division II.
And that's not even talking people who get scholarships.
Adding Division III, you're probably looking at about 2,000-3,000. And then 1% of those in college make the NFL. I mean, so you're going to sit here and get butthurt because you didn't make Deion's team. Dude, everybody isn't good enough to play Division I football. And a lot of y'all are butthurt because you can't make the starting. But at the end of the day, everybody isn't as talented as everybody. That's what makes the... Bro, like, look, I'm a DJ, a very good one. I'm a very good DJ. If everybody on From the Sidelines will vouch for me, GQ, especially Prime, Rod, they will all vouch for me as how good of a DJ I am. I'm not as good of a DJ as the people making millions every year DJing, though. It is what it is. Imagine there's a bigger field of DJs than a bigger field of football players.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
And 0.5% make it big.
These motherfuckers making millions, DJ. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't trying to put battery in your back. All I'm saying is I done hear some of their mixes, dog. And I'm
just listen, look. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's all I'm saying. Man.
I'm not saying I cannot be better than them, but currently at what I'm doing right now, I'm not. You want to know how you get better than that person in front of you? Put your fucking head down and do the work.
Do the work,
man. Some people are more talented than you, but what I also do know, Moo, you know this quote very well. And you could probably quote it before I even bring it up because you know where I'm going with this. Hard work beats talent, where talent doesn't work hard.
Every time.
Stop being salty, bro. If you're not gifted from the start and you got to work your way, you got to work your way. There's a reason why a lot of these guys go to college, walk on, make it for 2 years, and the coach sees them going crazy and going hard every day in practice, and their junior and senior year of college, they're giving them full ride scholarships, even though the talent doesn't equate. It's because you're coming out here and you're setting the example every single day of what a starter should be like. Mm-hmm. That kind of person is valuable. I don't look, y'all can hate on Deion all y'all want to. Y'all hate the black man all y'all want to. But here's what I do know. Give it 4 seasons, Colorado will turn it around and be in a BCS bowl. College football player bowl. My bad. That's what it is now.
And that's the reason why you know, before I get to that comment, because that's a really good comment, I want to get back to that. But that's the reason why I feel like NCAA 25 is such an important game, right? Because a lot of y'all is gonna go out, pick the 5-star. A lot of y'all is gonna go out, pick the middle of the pack guy. But truth be told, a lot of y'all need to go. Y'all need to go and pick the underdog. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to go pick that underdog and understand the grind of what it takes to be a good college football player or a good football player in general, because it doesn't just come overnight. Like, it takes a lot of hard work. There's a lot of technique. There's a lot of trust, like the trust factor from the coach. There's a lot of trust that you have to gain in order to be on the field or to be taken seriously on the field, right? So you can't just walk out there and think that people are just going to give you a spot because in high school you were a 5-star, which all of those stars, a stupid ass star system, does not matter. Talent is what matters, bro. You can go out there and be a quote unquote 5-star, be a 3-star, a 10-star, but get on a field with a whole bunch of other 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stars, and your 10 stars don't mean shit to their 10 stars because your 10 stars was only based in that little section of wherever the fuck you from. Like, and none of that really matters, bro. Get on the field and work. So when y'all come out with these bullshit ass stories, and that's the thing, like, you never put a face to it. That's the thing I don't ever respect, right? Like, you never put a face to it. You guys always anonymous and, oh, a next player said that and the next teammate said this, and fuck that, bro. If you really got something to say, come out and stand on it. You're not at the school
Stand
no
on
more.
business, 10 toes down on this motherfucker.
You feel me? Stand on your own too. Like, you're not at the school no more. What you got to fear? What you got to lose? You feel me? Go ahead and make a statement. Since I just don't respect the whole anonymous thing, bro. Don't come out and make an anonymous ass statement. If I said it, I said it.
You know what? You ever watch All American? Do you watch All American?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Spencer goes to college his first year. His coach gets real with him, and his coach said one of the things that always reverberated in my head. He told Spencer, he was like, "The problem is with you right now. I'm not playing you. It's because you're still living on the accomplishments in high school and trying to ride the wave. No, bro, you can't do that. You're on to the next level. I don't care how good you were in college. I could find a 3-star recruit that will work harder than you and outplay you just because they worked harder than you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is real, bro. I don't give a damn if you totally right. Like, hey, high school goes to 5-star. I don't give a fuck if you a 5-star recruit, All American, this and that. It's not always going to translate to the next level, and it's not always going to translate to the next level because you just might not be that talented compared to who you are on the next level. But some people's talents are underdeveloped, and they will be a better college player than they were a high school player based on the fact that they have better coaching now.
Because you live and you learn, right? You go through the program,
Facts.
you learn different techniques from different coaches, and that correlates and that translates to the next level. So, and that's the reason why we had the episode about developed versus underdeveloped, is because when you look at a lot of these guys that want to come out early and want to get the big money and all of the stuff like that, you see that it takes them longer to either gain a starting spot, or even when they gain a starting spot, it takes them either longer to sustain it, or they just lose it outright because they missed key development factors that they were supposed to gain in college. So when you have opportunities like that to learn from people like that, right? And I follow, Colorado, I follow their staff. They got all ex-NFL guys, right? So when you have guys like that on the team, on the staff, listen to them, right? They've been there, right? These are guys that have been to Super Bowls, that have been to the playoffs in their respective field, that won Super Bowls, right? Won prestigious awards, right? Some of them are in the Hall of Fame, right? So I seen a quote, or I seen a video of James Jones giving these young receivers some game, and a lot of these guys, I guess, they were trying to write it off, and he was just like, "Man, what do I know, right? I guess I only played in the NFL for 9 years, right? Like, and he's right. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't like the biggest name receiver. He wasn't a superstar, but
James Jones was so cold though, bro.
Exactly. The work that he put in helps him sustain a damn near 10-year career. Super Bowl champ, NFL receiving leader 1 year, right? Like his job, his role was very viable, right? So if you just put your head down, keep your nose down and work, you'll never know where you can end up at. And I think that's the biggest, most important part that a lot of guys are missing. And like I said, stop coming out with this anonymous ass bullshit, bro. Stand on what y'all saying. If y'all gonna come out and give a quote, if y'all gonna be talking to these tabloids or be talking to these reporters and shit like that, and oh well, I didn't really say that. The quote got misconstrued and they took it out the wrong context.
Nah, it didn't get misconstrued with shit.
Yeah, then come out and put a face to it. You come out and say what the fuck you gotta say through your mouth. Stop going through other ass tabloids and other little sports pages that are trying to gain clout off your name or off your word, and come out and say the shit yourself. And then people will respect you more, right? But moving on to this whole Michigan thing, right? Now, after the national championship, everything, well, really before the national championship, but after the national championship, they started to do the investigation about all Michigan and everything that they had going on during the season, probing, having people record plays and steal plays, all the stuff like that. Now, it comes out that hard drives were wiped or destroyed. 52 text messages have been deleted and recovered. They had some guy dressed up as a mascot, and he was on he can be seen on multiple sidelines. And it's not looking good for Michigan right now. And the new coach, Rondale Moore, I think his name is, he's in for a tough one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I see why a lot of the players ended up jumping ship and ended up leaving and going to respectfully new schools. But this is going to be tough to recover from. DJ, how we feeling?
I feel like Harbaugh left at the right time, and he's playing innocent like he didn't know. But I mean, anybody with common sense know he knows or know he knew. And I think legitimately they did win a championship. And the thing that makes me mad about it even more is like, you didn't need to do this. You didn't need to do it. You were that much better than everybody last year, not named Ohio State. But the problem comes in because a lot of Ohio State people believe that Harbaugh cheated to win. And because a lot of them people believe that, and because the allegations came out, a lot of people are saying, hey, he was stealing signs. He knew the plays. He was over there watching because he had somebody filming it the whole time. This and that. Because Ohio State was no pushover last year. They were a very formidable team, but they ran into Michigan, they lost, and they dropped down in the rankings. So, and they couldn't climb back up after, because that Ohio State Michigan game is so late in the season. Whoever wins that game, for the most part, every year is the team going to the playoffs.
Basically, and that's always a tragic case.
There's been very few times where you could put Ohio State and Michigan into the back then it was the BCS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there was very few times you could lose a game and still get into the BCS. With the CFP and it's 4 teams, only one of those teams can make, because they're both in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
So only one of those teams can make it with the college football playoff, just like it was with the BCS. So I feel like Michigan would have still won. Me being Ohio State fan, I still feel like Michigan would have still won. But why cheat? Because you didn't need to. You didn't need to cheat. You were that much better than everybody. I will never get it.
And that's the thing I don't understand, right? And I'm hoping Mel can make it back soon enough to where he can shed some light on why, right? And that's the reason why I said this on Inside the Huddle, right? Why cheat? There's no need to. Like, y'all are so good. The defense is great. the offense, the running game is good. You guys got solid receivers, right? JJ McCarthy was doing everything right. Like, there's no need for them to cheat. That's the reason why I didn't believe it, right? Because there's no need for them to cheat. Why the fuck would they cheat when there's literally no need to cheat in any single fucking game in that division, other than probably Ohio State, because no other team was a fucking competition in that damn division other than Ohio State. They literally ran everybody out the building like they always do every single goddamn year, other than Ohio State, right? Because that's always seems to be a good game. Now I can understand that people want to sit up there and be like, maybe that's the reason why they win so convincingly, but I don't think so. Like, Michigan has always had a really good season and kind of fucked it off towards the end of the season because they run into Ohio State or they run into somebody else in a bowl game to where they has to get to the championship. But even now, like, I feel like it's a moot point because they're expanding the playoffs from 4 teams to 12 teams now.
Yeah,
Like,
something crazy.
It's something fucking crazy, bro. So it's like, even if they do have a horrible fucking season because they have all of these sanctions and stuff like that, like, they can still generate a good enough record in that division to still make the fucking playoffs now compared to before. Like, and that's the reason why I'm like, why cheat? Why do it, right? And I see why Jim Harbaugh was denied, because, like, I didn't understand. I didn't know nothing. And I'm in the NFL now, and y'all can't say nothing to me because I didn't do it. I wasn't there. I'm playing innocent, right? But I just don't think that playing innocent thing is going to work. And I think that the new coach is probably going to have to end up going through some things, and it's going to be tough for them to bounce back as a program, because we understand how the NCAA likes to make examples out of people and examples out of teams that do heinous things or that have been caught up cheating or have allegations of cheating, whatever the case may be. So just thinking about what the NCAA is capable of doing, I see that Coach Moore and the Michigan Wolverines, it's probably going to be a tough outing for them in the next 3 to 5 years. That's what I'm guessing. I'm assuming, depending on how serious all of the findings are.
Well,
I'm not a
fan, I would hope they don't give him a death penalty like they did SMU. They shouldn't, basically based on the fact that Harbaugh got his ass out of there before it was on him.
Yeah.
I get if they give them hey, look, you can't compete for a bowl game next year, but it shouldn't be multiple years because it's not the same coach and it's not going to be the same players either. You can't. And one thing I hate about the NCAA, they gave SMU the death penalty when it was damn near like 15 years of no bowl games, no this and that, and it's just kind of like okay, for the next 10 years, you're telling other young players who SMU is recruiting, like, hey, you can't play for a bowl, but you can come here and go undefeated and celebrate that. Like, no, it's not fair.
You'll get some really good looks to go to the league, I guess, but you really won't have anything to show for it. I'm not gonna lie to you. And that's the thing that I guess that sucks for all the players that are going to come into Michigan. But that division is going to be crazy anyway with all the new addition and the new teams that are coming in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll definitely keep our eyes on that. Going forward, now, before we jump into the Olympics, Denzel Ward has came out and has some really strong feelings about being left off the top 100 list. Now, here's my thoughts on this top 100 list, okay? It's completely based off pure opinion, right? Fans don't really get a vote on this. It's all based off the players and I guess some of the coaches, but mainly off other players within the league, right? So I think with a lot of these guys that are coming out and with these lists, and I've seen a lot of people that had a problem with Aaron Rodgers making the list. But the reason why somebody like an Aaron Rodgers is going to make the list is because a lot of players, even though he did get hurt last year, they still respect his ability. They still respect his ability to come out there, throw the ball, make plays, and be really competitive probably up until the playoffs or the NFC Championship or AFC Championship, I guess now at this point. But
wow. I like the low blow, backhanded ass compliment, huh?
Aaron Rodgers is my favorite quarterback. I can do that. So,
yeah, up until, huh?
Hey, up until he knows it, shit. But you might want to get off that ayahuasca and smoke some weed or something like that, and maybe it might be when the playoff game. I don't know. You are in New York now, so do with that information what you will.
He gonna smoke some peyote.
Hey man, all I'm saying is if you need some good shit that get you right, tap in with me, big dog. But I just think that with the whole top 100 and being left off, it doesn't really matter. Like it's not like you get like an incentive to and making it, or maybe you do. I'm not sure. You might get like an incentive when you make a top 100 list or something like that. I don't know. I don't fucking think so. I don't think you do. I just think it's for bragging rights and I'm this and I'm that, or I'm considered the best player because I don't think it matters. I don't think that if you sit up here and say that because all the players voted Tyreek Hill as the number one player in the league, that he is the number one player in the league, right? Because I thought it would go to Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, somebody like that, right? So, what are your thoughts on Denzel Ward and this top 100 list?
Well, number one, I think Denzel Ward should have made the list. But more importantly, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. When you retire, nobody's going to say he made the top 100 list of NFL players 4 times, and that's the reason why he should go to the Hall of Fame. We won't do that.
That's fact.
What's going on here is, and I want to make this plain as day, because making Pro Bowls in the NFL does matter more than making an all-star team in the NBA. Making a Pro Bowl in the NFL does matter more.
Yes.
And more importantly, my goal would not be to impress a motherfucking person who's going to vote for the top 100 list. My goal is to make an all-pro team if I was in the NFL.
Yes.
You make 4 all-pro teams, you're damn near a surefire Hall of Famer.
Which he did last year.
4 all-pro teams, and then let's just go about 6 my bad. 4 all-pro teams and 4 all-NFL teams, or whatever they call it now. What is it called? All-pro teams and then 6 Pro Bowls. That's what I'm looking for here. If you make 4 all-pro teams, 6 Pro Bowls, you're damn near a surefire Hall of Famer in NFL standards. Literally.
I mean,
so there's so many people playing this position and so many people doing all that. Listen, bro, fuck the top 100 list. If you don't make the top 100 list, but you make an all-pro or you make a Pro Bowl, that's all that matters. Like, that's it. Because football has so many people, it's so limited. Any given year, the best wide receiver or the best tight end in the league could not make an all-pro team or could not make a Pro Bowl because somebody had a better year than them that year. That's literally like the NFL is such an up and down league compared to basketball, because a lot of people forget you can make basketball more of a one-on-one game because you could take the ball and be like, shit, ISO me out, I'm taking this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in football, especially as a receiver or a tight end or any position catching the ball or any running back running the ball, you're so dependent on either the offense. You're so dependent on the offensive line, the quarterback throwing the ball, the corner. You know what I'm saying? Are they double teaming you? Can you catch out of a double team? Can you get open with a double move? And if you do, can you get open with your double move faster than your teammate can do it? There's a lot going in. So there's a lot of times in the NFL where the best receiver in the NFL is not going to be the highest rated receiver out of any year. I want y'all to remember the top 100 list comes out every year. There are plenty of top 100 players that don't make the Pro Bowl and they don't make all pro in the NFL. I don't give a damn. I don't have to make the top 100 list. But if I'm Denzel Ward, nigga, I made all pro. Y'all can't tell me shit because that's the pinnacle. whether you're first-team or second-team, you're one of the top 2 players in your position. And obviously for corners, you're one of the top 4 because you get a corner on the left side, corner on the right side. And then with the safeties, you get a free safety, strong safety, first team and second team. So you get 4 there too. Linebackers, you get 6? And unless they make it a 4-3 situation, then you get 4. I mean, it depends on the votes. The linebackers depend on the linemen too when it comes to voting. But
True.
The safeties and the corners, bruh, if you don't make the top 100 list, but you make an all-pro team, you don't even got to complain. Fuck it. The people that voted for me to be on the top 100, my peers don't think I am, but guess what? All-pro is what counts for the Hall of Fame, not top 100 list.
Yeah, shoot. That's true. Hey, mic drop on that one. My sentiments exactly. Jerry Jones said he's not paying CD.
You want my thoughts on this? Because you didn't say, oh, you going to go first.
Oh man, do you think CD just quick? Do you think CD finna leave now? Because Jerry Jones said he not playing CD, and CD dropped the LOL on Twitter like fuck niggas. CD on social media doing LOLs, he making TikToks and shit. Hey, I don't know, man.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. I want you to be 100% honest because I'm thinking in my head right now, and I can't think of one. Right? When was the last time a top 5 receiver won a Super Bowl for the team?
Top 5 receiver won a Super Bowl for their team.
Julio lost. Antonio Brown lost. Oh no, Antonio Brown. Okay, so if you want to put Mike Evans, I'll take Mike Evans with Tampa Bay. I don't know if you put Mike Evans in the top 5 or the top 10.
A lot of people don't classify Mike Evans in the top 5. They classify they hate on Mike Evans. I don't understand it, but
they really do. I think Mike Evans is a top 5 receiver just based off of consistency.
Exactly.
But the general consensus say he's not a top. So let's just say consensus wise, who's the top 5? When was the last time a top 5 receiver won their team a Super Bowl?
Let me see when that year.
Julio couldn't do it.
The Rams won. Okay, see, this one's tricky, right?
That boy said he said I'd take Keenan. Are you talking about Keenan Allen? The Chargers ain't won a Super Bowl.
Okay, now this one's tricky, right? Shout out to my brother Mike B. This one's tricky, right? Because would you classify Cooper Kupp as a top 5 or top 10 receiver in 2021? Because prior to that, in 2020, he wasn't.
Okay.
See, he was going to say Kupp, but
I would say okay. I will give you Cooper Kupp because that year he was the number 1 receiver. So I will definitely say that. But the anomaly here is Cooper Kupp because who else?
Well, and it's crazy because a lot of people will say that Cooper Kupp wasn't even top 10 going into that 2021 year, and he garnered top 10 or even top 5 status. But
okay, Tyreek is a good
one. Unfortunately, didn't because he got hurt. Right? I think Tyreek might be one. Tyreek might be one. I think so. Yeah, because he did get a ring with Kansas City, and he was. You can consider him a top. Coop might be on the cusp, man, because that 1 year and then him getting hurt the 2 following years, I don't know if you can necessarily classify him as a top 5 receiver.
I'm not mad with Cooper Kupp. I'm not mad with the Cooper Kupp, and I'm definitely not mad with Tyreek Hill. But that's kind of my point. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pick Cooper Kupp and you put Tyreek, but who else as a top 5 receiver has won the Super Bowl? In like, when you go back and you look past the year 2000 and somebody's gonna say Torrey Holt or Isaac Bruce, that was 99. Doesn't count.
Because even Jerry was in the 90s.
Like, let's just go through Super Bowl winning teams. All right. So 99 was the Rams, right?
Yep.
99 was the Rams. 2000 was it the Ravens?
I think that was the Patriots.
I think 2000 was the Ravens.
I think right, 2000 was the Ravens. 2000 Ravens.
With the best defense ever. And Shannon Sharpe was on that team. So you had the 2000, 2001 was the Patriots. 2002 was the Bucks. 03 and 04, I want to say, is the Patriots. Or am I wrong about 03 and 04?
Let me see.
05 might have been the 05, maybe the Steelers over the Seahawks.
Let's see. Let me see. So 02. So 2002 was Patriots and Rams.
Right.
That was the rematch. 2003 was Tampa Bay and the Raiders. But I think they got Keyshawn the year after. So that one doesn't count. Larry Fitz is a good one too, but they lost. So that one
they lost.
Yeah, that was a good one. I don't know if you see, and that's the thing. I don't know if you classify Santonio Holmes as a top 10 receiver.
No. We talking about okay. So I don't think Santonio Holmes was a top 10 receiver. I think he showed out in the playoffs.
I think he did too. Yeah, Eagles, Patriots in 05. But
T.O. was the best. T.O. was the best receiver in that.
Yep.
04, yeah. 06 would have been the Steelers with Hines Ward.
Yep, the Steelers and Hines Ward, but was Hines top
10? He could have been top 10 back then. He could have.
But
they lost. That's my point. But they lost though, even though they still lost. Oh no, they won. My bad. They won. They won.
What are you doing?
Okay, so let's count. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that Hines Ward was the top 10 receiver. Let's just say that for argument's sake.
I can't even say that. On 05, he didn't even put up 1,000. And the year before that, he barely put up 1,000. So a lot of people wouldn't classify him as a top 5 receiver at that time.
Well, I'm gonna just say top 10 because Julio Jones has been a consistent top 10 receiver. So I'm gonna just say top 10.
Julio has been a consistent top 10. See, I don't know. Because Hines Ward went back-to-back, right? Back-to-back Super Bowl.
Oh, but you know what? Marvin Harrison in 06-07.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Marvin Harrison,
you know.
And Reggie Wayne, though.
And Reggie Wayne. You can kind of throw both of them in there. You could throw both of them in there. Yeah. So we got 07. That's one.
Yeah. We might have. Oh, let me look.
Reggie Wayne was cold, man.
Let me look at it though, because if Marv was, because we remember Marv was really like that. So you got to really.
Shout out to Marvin Harrison Jr. too, by the way. Yeah, Marv was like that.
He was going crazy in camp, by the way. But oh my God, I forgot. Damn.
I didn't even think about Marvin Harrison until I just remember, like, oh shit, the Colts.
And it's the reason why that list is the list is so important going down the list, because it's like, damn, who really was
Yeah, Marvin Harrison was nice, bro. Okay, so we gonna give him Marvin Harrison.
Okay,
Definitely.
yeah, we can definitely get Marvin Harrison for sure. I think Marvin
Um,
Harrison definitely
all
one of
right.
those.
0708.
07, 08. Let me
Oh,
see.
that's the Patriots and Giants Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
Plaxico's not, but Randy Moss was and they lost.
Yep, I was gonna say that's the Randy Moss and they lost. That's when they basically fucking went undefeated, right?
And then the following year was 08, 09, and that was the Cardinals and Steelers year. And the Steelers won. And we already said
Yep.
We already said Fitz is a top 10.
Colson might have just missed the top 10 because he's talking about Saints and Colts.
With the Saints, oh man, he outside the top 10. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He might have just been outside the top 10. He might be
outside.
Might have been like top 12, top 13 borderline that year, but Marcus Colson was a good receiver. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, Jordy Nelson. Jordy's a good one. He's borderline top 10. Yeah,
I was gonna say
a good one.
That year, Jordy might have been, depending on the year, Jordy might have fucked around and been top 5 because there was a time.
Jordy's a good one.
There was a point in time when Jordy was crazy. Hold on.
Jordy's a good one. Going into 11, that was 10, 11, and going to 11 and 12. It was the Patriots and the Giants again in 11, 12. And I guess if you want to I think Victor Cruz is on that team. If you want to classify Victor Cruz as a top 10 receiver, go ahead. But I've never classified Victor Cruz as a.
He might have been.
I think he's a top 10 receiver that, I just wouldn't. If you named your top 10 receivers during that time, I think you could have lived without naming Victor Cruz because Victor Cruz had 1 year where he was just like dumb.
Yep, that 2011 year. Well, that really wasn't. Yeah, no, I mean, 1,500 that year. 2011, that's the championship.
So I'm not going. I'm just saying that 1 year is when he just went ballistic.
Yeah, and then he did follow it up in 2012 with another band, but then the injuries start catching up. But I mean, that's a big.
I give him Victor Cruz. I can say Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz was cold. I love you. Y'all know. I love my Texans, but I like my Giants too, man. I loved Eli Manning. That was my dude. I hated Peyton, but I loved Eli.
Yeah, I think I give him Vic, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What Eli said before that season that year, he was like, I think I'm up there with the best of them. And then we all said, you can't spell elite without Eli. And Eli went out there and did the damn.
Damn, okay. So the Ravens and don't have no.
Yeah, might be. We said Jordy Nelson already. We got there.
We said Jordy. But it depends because he might be French too, because a lot of people might not have Jordy at that top in a top
10 spot. Yeah. But no, I think Jordy Nelson for like 5 years was legitimately a top 10 receiver for about 5 years.
Most definitely. He most definitely was.
Yeah.
Most definitely was.
Jordy qualifies for my list. But after they won that first Super Bowl, they ain't win shit else.
Yeah. Well, shit. That whole defense either got hurt or left.
After that, you had the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos, Seahawks.
I don't know if I'd classify anybody in the Broncos as a top 10 receiver. I just think they had a bunch of good guys, a bunch of good players.
Well, that defense really.
Yeah, well, I mean, you talking about Von Miller, Miller and company. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Oh, okay. What about Golden Tate though?
Golden Tate was I love Golden Tate, but he was never a top 10 receiver.
He did put up. Check me out. He did put up damn near a band in the Super Bowl year. Right?
He did.
The next season, though, in the season that they went to the Super Bowl again and lost, he put up 1,300.
Right. Oh, but it's not consecutive seasons. and nobody would have put Golden Tate in that time. And I love. You could ask GQ. GQ would tell you I fucking love Golden Tate, bro. I really do. He was with the Rams one year, and he was with the Seahawks another year, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's how you know I know. I love Golden Tate, but he was never. He was never consecutively top 10. He had a year when he was top 10, spaced out, and then he was top 10 again. And I love Golden. I absolutely love Golden Tate. I really do. That was one of my favorite players. I picked him up every year in fantasy. I love Golden Tate, but no. Just because you're top, and that's one thing I need people on here to understand. Just because you're top 10 in receiving or touchdowns or in yards doesn't mean you're a top 10 receiver. You might just have a better season than the person who we classify as better than you because they're more consistent. And so, looking outside of numbers, would you have considered Golden Tate a top 10 receiver at any point in his career?
That's a good point.
Appreciate you coming through, Mike B.
Appreciate you, man. I got one more before we move on. One more, and I think this one may be it, right? And I think this one probably going to hold some weight too. Rest in peace, Demaryius Thomas.
I don't think Demaryius Thomas was ever a top 10 receiver. So no.
You got to look at it though. From 2012 to 2016, 2017, all over a band. And the 2015 year, 1,300. The year prior, 16. The year prior to that, 14.
Damn, you definitely might be right.
That's what I'm like. Right. I had to look at it because I thought about it. I'm like,
Demaryius Thomas, R.I.P. my boy though, man. I loved him. So let me ask you a question real quick. Right? Would you have taken him over Doug Baldwin?
I would have. I'm not gonna lie to you, because
in that year, because what year was that?
That's the 20. That's the 2013 season, 2014 season.
Okay, let's look at both of those.
2015 or the Super Bowl.
Because you just agree with me that just because you had a top 10 year don't make you a top 10 receiver.
True, but he was going crazy.
Okay. So, would you have taken Antonio Brown over him that year?
Yes. I would say yeah. Give me AD. Yes.
Would you have taken Julio Jones over him?
No.
I would have took Julio over him too, because Julio in Atlanta was crazy. I would have taken him. Here's what I will say though. I do think Demaryius Thomas was a top 10 receiver in his prime. Like, it's close. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely got to go back and see. But as I'm going back and seeing, I'm looking. Even though he had more yards than Odell Beckham, I don't think I'd have took him over Odell because Beckham missed 4 games, so I wouldn't take him over Odell Beckham. T.Y. Hilton was going crazy. Do I think I'd have took him over T.Y. Hilton? I think if T.Y. Hilton was with Tom Brady, I think he would have put up even more numbers than Demaryius Thomas did. If Julio Jones, not Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I think if Julio Jones had Peyton Manning, he would have put up more numbers. And then a guy on this team was Emmanuel Sanders. He wasn't too far behind. But T.Y. Hilton and Dez Bryant, Odell Beckham, Deshaun Jackson. I'm not going to include Robert Gronkowski because Robert Gronkowski is a tight end. But I think Jordy Nelson, not too much. I mean, he had Aaron Rodgers, so I'm not gonna say nothing against Jordy Nelson. But Demaryius Thomas was definitely a threat in the end zone for shit sure.
I think
them 2 years in Denver, he was very lethal. But I do think if Julio Jones had Peyton Manning, he'd have more yards. Jordy Nelson had Aaron Rodgers, so I'm not going to say nothing. Emmanuel Sanders had the same quarterback, and he was right there. T.Y. Hilton had a faded Andrew Luck. I think if he had Peyton Manning, I think if T.Y. Hilton had Peyton Manning, he would have had more yards. Des Bryant, if he wouldn't have had Tony Romo, I think he would have had more yards. Jeremy Maclin, if he wouldn't have had Nick Foles, he would have had more yards. Odell Beckham, and as much as I love Eli, had Odell Beckham had Peyton Manning, he would have had more yards. DeAndre Hopkins only put up 12-10 in 16 games. Had he had Peyton Manning, and y'all know this to be true, had he had Peyton Manning, DeAndre Hopkins would have put up more yards. I also think Deshaun Jackson would have put up more yards if he wasn't in Washington, because he still put up 1169 in Washington. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I still think with Demaryius Thomas, had it been somebody else who we consider more talented and a better receiver, he would have put up more yards. I'm not saying Demaryius Thomas wasn't a top 10 receiver in the years he was there with Denver. All I'm saying is, was he technically a top 10 receiver in the league? Because if you switch a couple of these people, you would think they put up better stats with Peyton Manning as their quarterback than Demaryius Thomas.
But just looking at everybody who what they would essentially consider, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's basically 10. All the names of the Pro Bowl or the All Pro receivers that year. You got Calvin Johnson, Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown, Brandon Marshall, Jordy Nelson, Demaryius Thomas, Anquan Boldin.
Did you say Josh Gordon?
Yes.
Oh my God! Wow.
Andre Johnson, AJ Green. Those were
this
all
20,
the pro.
This is 2014, right? 2014, right?
This is 2013.
Oh, my bad. Okay, my bad. I looked at 2014. Let me go back to 20. I did look at 2014. Let me see real quick with 2013. By the way, just to let y'all know, I'm taking Andre Johnson over him. So Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown, Calvin Johnson, Demaryius Thomas. Oh, I'm definitely taking AJ Green, even though Demaryius Thomas had more. I mean, AJ Green played with the
AJ Green was badass offense.
Alshon Jeffrey played with, was it God damn it, what's that guy's name? Good Lord. Here's who I'm taking that year. Without looking at their overall yards and shit, here's who I will take. I won't take Josh Gordon because Josh Gordon is a one-off, and that nigga can't stay off the weed. But I'll take Antonio Brown. I'll take Antonio Brown, Calvin Johnson, AJ Green, Andre Johnson, Deshaun Jackson, Jordy Nelson, Brandon Marshall, Des Bryant, T.Y. Hilton. That what was that, 7? So yeah, okay. I'll go with Demaryius Thomas being top 10 because I would take 7 of them over Demaryius Thomas. So yeah, okay. So
that makes sense.
You can take, yeah. I'll take Demaryius Thomas for sure.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm not mad at that. I'm glad we did that little breakdown though, because that shows that you can be top 5 and make top 5 money, but that doesn't guarantee you a championship, right?
Right.
And you can make your money, but you got to start weighing your options. That's important.
And that's my biggest point with Jerry Jones not paying CeeDee Lamb, because here's what I do know, and you'll agree with this. Everybody begged the Packers not to trade Devontae Adams, and they traded him. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Jordan Love comes in, and you got Christian. Why can I think of this dude's name right now?
Oh, Christian Watson.
You got Christian Watson, Robert Tonyan, and these boys coming in, and they get to the playoffs and knock off the Cowboys. Here's what I know, okay? Just because you have a top 10 or top 5 receiver doesn't mean you're going far in the playoffs. So, go back to your original question with, is Jerry Jones crazy for not paying CeeDee Lamb? No, he's not. He's absolutely not crazy. Because you're probably better off with a receiver that you know is talented, but nobody has scouted yet. Just based on the fact that top 10 receivers don't win Super Bowls often. We know about the Jerry Rice. Randy Moss never won a Super Bowl.
Yep. T.O. never won a Super Bowl.
We know about the T.O.'s. T.O. never won a Super Bowl.
Fitz never won a Super Bowl.
Fitzgerald never won a Super Bowl. And Fitzgerald is damn near a top 5 receiver all time.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Johnson never won a Super Bowl. Calvin Johnson never won a Super Bowl. There's a lot. Jimmy Graham, if you want to count him as a receiver,
shoot, he was up there.
I mean, he was a tight end, but Jimmy Graham never won a Super Bowl. Like, top 5 receivers do not guarantee you a Super Bowl. Now, if you're Tyreek Hill and you win a Super Bowl, you're Tyreek Hill and you win a Super Bowl. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Tyreek, more power to you, brother. You got a quarterback that's special. You don't ever see a duo like that most of the time. So,
yeah, that doesn't come around a lot.
No. I just don't. I think Jerry made the right decision in not paying CeeDee Lamb as far as the Cowboys go. I think he made the right decision. Even Doug Baldwin with the Seahawks, I don't think anybody would have classified him during that time in the first 5 or the back 5 years as a top 10 receiver during that era. So, like, Jerome Kersey wasn't classified as a top 10 receiver during that era.
Yep.
But what they were was very, very good.
That's true. And they had a great defense. So, I mean,
like, one of my favorite players in the era was Brandon Lloyd. Brandon Lloyd had hands.
Oh, yeah.
But Brandon Lloyd was not a top 10 receiver anywhere. But he was the biggest end zone threat ever. Because he will catch whatever you throw to him.
Big target everywhere. And I think that was the most important thing, right? When it comes down to ultimately paying these guys, right? And now we can kind of get the insight, or we kind of see why Brandon Ayuk hasn't been paid yet. Because although you may be a top receiver outside of the Niners, you're not a top receiver inside of the Niners program. And I think ultimately that's the problem that you run into. But me and Mel are going to get into that a little bit later.
I don't want you and Mel to get into it. I want me and you to get into it because Mel don't know what he be talking about most of the time. And I'm going to stand by that. I stand by that. I believe that. You know, I'm going to put my Denzel voice on right now. I stand by that, and I believe that Mel does not know what he's talking about. And I always want to talk to Mel, but Mel keeps running from me, and it's okay. It's okay. I understand why. But you know, Mel don't want these problems, bro. I'm tired of telling y'all that.
Just so I can see that beat is come down from his head.
I have been waiting for Mel for 2 years now, and Mel will not come through. You told me Mel was supposed to come through tonight, and I ain't seen Mel yet.
He did text me. He said he was supposed to be through. He said he's supposed to come through. He said he was supposed to if he made it back in time because he had to run out. But that's why I was like, hey, man. Come on, man.
That nigga ain't had no time frame. I'd be scared to debate against me, too. I'm tired of telling y'all that shit.
Oh, man. What do you think about these Olympics, man? How's these Olympics going for you?
These Olympics have been absolute fire. From, well, not basketball-wise. Basketball-wise has been trash. But I'm happy you brought this up because I wanted to talk to you about a topic. So I'm going to bring a topic up. You know, I don't bring up topics on PVT because, you know, it's not my show. But I have to bring this one up to you.
Absolutely.
I got 2 friends that asked me or said, I wish y'all was into track and field more back in 2008. The way y'all are into it now, and what is the difference? And I sat there and I told them, I said, the difference is that I feel like people because of social media and you could do various interviews, I feel like people have become more compelled to the storylines of running track and field. And they told me I was absolutely wrong and I didn't know what I was talking about. But Moo, am I lying though? Because with social media booming the way, because they went all the way back to 2000. That's when they were in high school. And I was just like, but you're going all the way back to 2008 when Usain Bolt originally broke the record.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew who Usain Bolt was before he broke the record.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, people started following because Usain Bolt was doing interview after interview on YouTube. Social media, I feel like, has pushed the narrative, and for track and field events especially, to carry the weight and make it relevant because of compelling storylines. If it was 2008 and Sha'Carri got tested for weed and failed her drug test, nobody would have cared. But because it was in 2016 or was it 2016 or 2020? 2020.
Yeah,
because it was 2020 and it was all over social media, people cared because it was a compelling storyline. Her mom passed, she was smoking weed. She knows she's smoking weed, and she's supposed to win the gold medal because the year before she won the indoors or the worlds. And we were all hyped. We're like, damn, we ain't never seen this, because we have never been compelled to watch a lot of track and field as people who didn't watch track and field. Before that, a lot of people that watched track and field competed in track and field. And they told me I was wrong and didn't know what I was talking about. But I told them, I was like, bro, I'm telling you, that's what it is. And I want your perspective on that.
I think it's true. I think that's true. The main point being is that a lot of people who watched or paid attention to track and field competed or participated in track and field. But when it came to the storylines, when it came to the stories, when it came to the matchups, a lot of people didn't pay attention to that because the Americans didn't respectively have anybody that was on par to represent on like a Usain Bolt, right? And it wasn't until a Justin Gatlin, a Tyson Gay started to come on and started to garner that hype to where everybody thought that they were going to be able to compete with Usain Bolt because of the times they were putting up in the World Championships, in the U.S.
Because he broke the record, and that's what gauged our interest.
Exactly, because they were like, oh my gosh, they have this guy who's up there with Usain Bolt. He broke the record. That's from the USA. So now they got this storyline. Now they got this compelling matchup to where everybody's going to be tuned in to where it's like, holy shit, is this guy going to? And when you do that and you add the 4x1 in the relay, it's like, oh, well, we got these four fast guys and the Justin Gatlin and Tyson Gay. He's the anchor, and he's going to be going against Usain Bolt at the end. And you got Johan Blake, and he's the second. Like, that is what's building up the expense. That's what's building up. So now you got people who don't even watch track and field, who don't know who Tyson Gay is, don't know who Justin Gatlin is, don't know who Johan Blake is, don't know who Usain Bolt is.
Most of them don't know who Carl Lewis is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
They do, because you have these storylines of people talking about this, right? And they're starting to build it up. So now it's not just the Olympics, they happen 4 years in a row. Now people are paying attention year round, every single year until the Olympics.
That was my point. And bro, that was
because they're starting to that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, your point is valid, because now they're starting to, it's all in the marketing, right? Track and field realize that they have a market out there that's untapped. So they can build up to that market. And as they're building us suspense 1 year, another year, and then boom, the Olympics come around. Now it's like, we got a Justin Gatlin, we got a Tyson Gay, we got a Usain Bolt and a Johan Blake matchup, rematch from last year or from 4 years ago, right? Or they just met up in the World Championship and Usain Bolt was talking shit and ran up. Like, that's how we get those moments. That's how we get that. We get that suspense. And the reason why it's so valid is even now, because like he said, like, he wishes people were back in the track in 08 like they are now. Well, it's like now that we have Americans that are competing at a high level like these other countries. And before, you can only name, like you said, the Carl Lewises, the Michael Johnsons. You can only name a few of American sprinters that have really put the work in and have really reached the pedestal of American track and field to where they're now looked at and regarded to as legends. but for years to come, we didn't have that. So when you had that buildup back in 2008, it's because you had those prominent stars, and now we have it again because you have a Sha'Carri Richardson, who's the fastest woman to come out of the United States since FloJo, right? And with her
FloJo, what's up, baby?
You know what I'm saying? Since her and with her missing out the Olympics in 2020 and 2021, whatever people want to classify that year as, it brought up the whole bunch of suspense because, oh, well, the Jamaicans did this and she didn't, she popped for weed, and oh, well, she was really scared. And then after that, it was the buildup, right? It was how the media and
everybody bounce back.
Yeah, how the media and everybody was going to portray her, right? The media is literally on her back every single race. Sha'Carri's this, Sha'Carri's that, Sha'Carri's this, Sha'Carri's that. Literally leading up until the Olympics, literally leading up to the World Championships to qualify for the Olympics. They're posting the bad races, they're posting the good races, they're posting all of Shericka Jackson and Shelly Ann Frazier's good races, and you got all the Jamaicans online coming at the U.S. people, and motherfuckers who don't even watch track and field, who don't care about track and field year round, they get into the conversation because they like, hold on, you're not gonna come at the USA, bitch. I live here. Like, nah, like my girl Sha'Carri, she got popped for some weed, but she gonna be back.
So let me read you this thread real quick, and I want you to listen to the points I made versus people that's running that will run in track, right? And I'm not saying I school these niggas, but I'm just saying I school these niggas because
scope.
Because and the problem is they are track runners, so they kept up with track and field. But people outside of track and field weren't keeping up with track and field. So this is how it starts. My homeboy said, but why y'all wasn't into track like this when I was running? And that was back in 2008. So I literally said, because the 24/7 coverage of track has increased.
It's true.
Obviously, I meant because of social media, but
true, it has.
So he said, so my homeboy said, so you telling me that the coverage wasn't the same in 2008? The coverage wasn't the same in 2008.
It wasn't.
Here's what I said. I said, I mean, outside of the track, not so much the sport itself, social media plays a big part because people are not just only hearing stories of runners at the Olympics, they're hearing it year round, especially with the World Championships. He says, so again, what you're saying is track and field is more popular now than when Usain Bolt broke 7 world records in 8 years. Yes.
Yeah.
Here's what I said. I said, yes, because people love stories. The athletes are more accessible. Therefore, the stories are more accessible. YouTube has a lot to do with that. Without a prominent professional league and less media coverage, before, people only saw track during the Olympics.
That's facts. And it's all facts. That's all.
And my homeboy said, never. Usain era was way bigger than Laos. Jamaica was running the world literally in track back then in men's and women's. Noah not even close to the time Bolt ran, and then he couldn't beat his fellow American Tyson Gill, Justin Gatlin. Noah is gay. That's why the media is eating it up right now, and that's fucked up because he is the only thing USA has going for them in that sport right now. Am I tripping, or did Gabby Douglas win the 200?
Sure
did Sidney McLaughlin win the 400?
Sure did.
Hurdles. Okay, I just want to make sure. Now, my other homeboy comes in and says, how y'all get this far? The 24 coverage of track now don't got nothing to do with the people that were immediately around us to not supporting nor pay attention. And then the other guy says, facts. Some of us really have potential to be world-class athletes. But again, it goes back to you had the potential, but nobody paid attention because and I hate that. I don't want to make track people feel insignificant, but nobody cared about track until the Olympics. When everybody wants to be patriotic. You know what that reminds me of? The same way nobody wants to be nice year round until Christmas comes into play, and all of a sudden everybody is nice and Merry Christmas, have a good Christmas, and there's no fuck that. I'm speaking facts, bruh. Nobody knew when the indoor Olympics was. Nobody knew when the Winter Olympics was, but they probably did. But the indoor the 2 years in between when after summer, nobody knew when X Games were. Nobody paid attention to X Games. Nobody paid attention to World Championships. None of that until YouTube became prominent and you can see it. It was never globally televised. So these guys are telling me because they were track runners, they kept up with it. I'm happy for you. But what I am telling you is the majority of the world did not keep up with it. And you're telling me I don't know what I'm talking about and I am wrong. What I'm 100% right, bruh. Here's the facts. Nobody knew Sha'Carri Richardson other than track runners in 2018 when she was at the World Championship.
When she was leaving everybody at LSU.
Nobody knew she was a high school phenom in track and field. Nobody knew Gabby Douglas was a high school phenom in track and field, and she went to Harvard until this Olympics and last Olympics. Nobody knew who Simone Biles was until she won gold at the Olympics. Nobody knew who Gabby Douglas was until she won gold at the Olympics. But all these same people were breaking records at Worlds and under 18 Olympics the whole time. But because we had no idea, here we are. But now we know all the underclassmen. We know the under 18 Olympics. We know the 18 and up Olympics. We know who's placing gold and silver because social media evolved and played a big part in these storylines. People love stories. It's the exact reason why the MVP of the NBA doesn't win MVP of the NBA every year. It's because of storylines. What story is compelling? And for you to sit here and tell me I am wrong, for my friend, two of my good friends who I know are very good track and field athletes, both of them won Division I. They were both really good. Really, really good. One was a beast in triple jump. He went to SFA, and he was like number 5 in the nation until he put a hamstring and never recovered for the most part with his length. And the other one, he posted a high score in the 100, and he got scholarships to different colleges, but never went because he wasn't even on the track and field team. He just ran, and they posted on Facebook and was like, "Oh shit, this dude can run." Right? So, and they're both telling me I'm wrong, but I'm sitting here telling me like, no, I'm not wrong. I'm absolutely right. It's because people love storylines. They love to see them. Sha'Carri Richardson is famous today as famous as she is. You know why? Because she smoked weed and got banned from the Worlds. Had she never smoked weed and got banned from the Worlds, nobody would have cared. She would have been like, okay, I won first place. And everybody would be like, all right, whoever she is, she won first place. That's what's up. Oh, but no, they love the negative headlines. Oh, she smoked weed after her mom died and she couldn't qualify, and that was her bounce back season. I can't make it up, Moo. I can't make it up.
I mean, it's true though, and that's the thing about it, right? A lot of people will try to write it off and say, well, and that's the thing. A lot of people will sit up there and say, well, y'all weren't into it when I was running or when this and this and that. And that's just motherfuckers' way of saying that, you know, you didn't support me enough when I was running when I was into it, but now you're all of a sudden into it. Like, it's just their way of saying you didn't give me my flowers when I was running, but in an undercover way, which is fine. People can be salty about not getting the support or not getting the flowers when they, you know, were doing their respective craft. I was the state runner, CIF section champion in the 400. So I definitely understand about people being in the track or not being in the track and field, but that even ties into the Michael Phelps thing, right? Like, nobody really knew who Michael was until people started to talk about it and they started to do interviews, and the nigga won like 10 fucking medals in a row. I was like, hold on. So everybody started to figure out, oh shit, we got an American white boy, and they start to go crazy, and oh shit, it's against the Russians, and they start to build the storyline. And just like you said, nobody knew who Simone Biles was until they And literally nobody knew who this was who this girl was until the 2020 Olympics, where they banned her from going because of a move that she made up that nobody else can do. That's when everybody jumped on the fucking bandwagon. Nobody knew who Gabby Thomas was until she fucking did the fucking the white version of the Dougie after she won gold, right? Like, y'all don't know who these athletes are until they either get some type of big crazy storyline, or they go viral, or they start to collect their accolades, and that's when you guys start to catch on. Because even with the whole Simone Biles situation and her husband, I told people to name me 5 Olympic athletes, right? You can't name me the Ashley Johnsons, right? The U.S. water polo captain and the fastest swimmer in the swimmer in the
a lot of people can't even name me Jackie Jordan Kersey, and that is crazy.
You can't even tell me who can.
Allison Felix.
Come on, Allison Felix, somebody who literally broke a world record and ran a 400 hurdles while she was pregnant. Talk about being an outstanding athlete, right? Like Katie Ledecky, legitimately the female Michael Phelps, breaking records at the Olympics right now, still breaking records at the Olympics right now, right? Like, you guys, it's, of course, with social media comes hype, right? And with the addition of the push notifications from things like ESPN, right? Apps help a huge part in that, right? You got ESPN apps, House of Highlight, Bleacher Report, NBC, ABC, CBS, all of these apps that freaking come in, and you get push notifications and updates on your favorite team, favorite moments, and stuff like that. So now, of course, you're going to have more people that are into it, more people that are paying attention to it, because it's easily and more accessible. It's just like anime, right? Everybody swears up and down that they've been watching anime for years and they love anime, and no, you haven't. Okay. The fact of the matter is, a lot of y'all just got into anime a few years ago because you heard your favorite artist talking about it. Somebody rapped it in a song and you got curious, or you start to see people in the merch. You start to see people and you start to see the clips, or you start to hear people talking about it and you get curious and you want to go see what the heck is everybody's talking about. Right. But it's the same. It's the same concept. It's the same thing. Right. Anime was this small, tight knit community that people just, you watched it, you talked about it, right? You had conversations about it, right? You collected the mangas or the comics, right? The figurines, you had the shirts, but it was kind of taboo to like it because, it was considered something that was weird, or for something that was for little kids, because a lot of people still consider anime a cartoon, which anime is not a cartoon. It's completely different. So you had that whole kind of tight knit community to where, anime was kind of like closed off to people who legitimately only talked about it. So now when you have everybody talking about anime, you have people wearing the anime shirts and going to Comic Cons and going to anime cons. It's really, really popular because everybody's into it, because social media, right? Because now you have apps. And
big up Megan Thee Stallion. No lie. Yeah. Megan Thee Stallion put a lot of them on.
A lot of people, Michael B. Jordan, right? He put a lot of people on anime, right? Like it when you hear your favorite people, when you hear your favorite artists, and you hear somebody rap about or talk about anime, it brings you, it kind of draws you into it, because now you get curious, right? So now you have all of this stuff that's easily accessible. You can access the shit from your phone, right? Football. A lot of motherfuckers thought that football was just for men, and men only like football and men. Do you know how many fucking women love football? It's absolutely crazy.
Do y'all realize how many women have a Jason Kelce t-shirt?
A Jason Kelce, not a Travis Kelce. Jason Kelce, okay? Do you know how many women love the game of football? Do you know when the number spiked for football, it wasn't because men were watching more. It was because women started to watch the game of football, right? When men were at work, women would be turning the game on, right? So, of course, a lot of things in the eyes or with the help of social media is going to explode, and it's going to seem like there's a whole bunch of people that are just now getting into something, when it's because it's getting all of a sudden popular now, and that's fine, right? That's perfectly fine. Let all these people start to garner these eyes, right? Better late than never, right? Because now you're going to start to see the opportunities come for these athletes. Now you're going to start to see the brand deals come for these athletes. Now you're going to start to see these athletes get known by name, and that's ultimately what all the athletes want, is to not only be seen, not only be heard, not only to make money for doing what they've been training to do and dream their life, the dream, their dreams, but to be recognized for their hard work, for their craft, right? So, when just talking about the Olympics, and just how the spotlight has been more on the Olympics now. It's like after track and field or after the Olympics, it's going to go away again, right? You're still going to have that tight knit track community that really only pays attention to what's going on in the middle, because people don't understand that track is every year, every season, just like football, just like basketball, just like baseball. Like, they train every single year, every single off season, just like baseball, just like basketball, just like football, for their season when it comes up in the spring. So, like, everybody's going to go back to quote unquote ignoring it, and you're going to have the guys or the girls who just were talking about track or just were discussing track and field, and then you're going to have the people that have been that have not really paid attention to it, and they're going to go back to not paying attention to it until they see it on a headline, or until they see this name that they recognize, that name that they recognize, or the next 4 years where they see it in the fucking Olympics again. And that's when everybody's going to start to pay attention to it. It's just like the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl. A lot of people don't, outside of the regular fans, once the fan base is starting to go up more, don't watch football throughout the whole regular season. They don't watch every single game, but there's a reason why people literally go to Best Buy, Costco, Walmart, and rent televisions and buy televisions only to take them back the next day just to watch the fucking Super Bowl.
Facts.
Like, it's literally due to hype and everything, especially with kids, especially with how technology is, and you can watch and access everything from the palm of your hands. Everything is going to be hyped. Everything is going to get a crazy amount of hype that it didn't get before, didn't receive before, for that reason, right? So I think you're right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think you're absolutely correct. Because that's literally the main reason. It's facts. You can back it up with facts.
I can back it up, and that's the thing. So, the two guys that are arguing against me on Facebook is two of my good friends, but they're saying, like, it wasn't as popular. You know what? You might be, and that's one thing. Like, it might not have been as popular until Usain Bolt broke the record.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, after he broke the record, he promoted himself. He had crazy endorsements after breaking the record, because nobody knew who he was until he broke the record in 2008. Which was my senior year in high school. For those of you wondering when it was, but that was my senior year in high school. I never heard of Usain Bolt before until he broke the record. So it's like, no matter what, especially with track and field, it comes back to social media presence. And I hate to say it like that, because I knew who Gabby Douglas was because of a social media presence. I know who Sha'Carri was because of a social media presence 4 years ago. I know who Yohan Blake is because I know he was second to Usain Bolt. And the only reason why I know who Yohan is because Usain Bolt shouted him out on his Facebook. Of course, I know who. Look, I'm different than most people. I know who Justin Gatlin is. I know who Tyson Gay is. I know who Carl Lewis is. Like, I know all that. I get it. But Olympic coverage has improved so much from where it was in the 80s to where you can access, even right now, you could have the final for the 400 and the 200 on TV at the same time. I can watch them both. And that just shows how social media has expanded the sport. And for anybody to sit there and say social media did nothing is absolutely ludicrous, and you don't know sports.
I mean, honestly, yeah. That's the thing about it, right? If you don't, and TV and marketing has expounded tremendously, right? To the point where it's like, if you really don't understand how social media and how different TV and television markets and contracts have helped sports expand and help sports reach a pinnacle level to the point where a lot of people didn't think they were going to reach, you're crazy. Like, it's been that for a lot of things, right? Basketball, for instance, right? The NBA have been trying to catch the NFL as far as numbers for years, right? And they've slowly been climbing that ladder and closing the gap. Why? Because the marketing went up, right? And this is the thing, right? When you have guys like Usain Bolt, when you have guys like a Tyson Gay, when you have a Justin Gatlin, and when you have these guys and they are winning in their respective sports, because even though, yeah, Usain is getting a gold and Johan is getting maybe getting a silver, right? Justin Gatlin is getting the bronze, right? Justin Gatlin is getting the gold. Justin Gatlin is getting the silver, right? Tyson Gay is getting the silver, right? These guys are getting silvers, so they're getting respective brand deals from their teams, right, or from their countries. So with Puma, with Nike, with Adidas, you see the Usains with Puma, you see the Usains with Tyson, you see the Adidas going after Justin Gatlin, right? Now you see Sha'Carri Richardson and Sydney McLaughlin, and Allison Felix. You see all the and Nike commercials and all the stuff like that, and you're wondering, okay, well, who are these athletes, right? It's the same with WNBA, right? Caitlin Clark gets this huge following, huge contract with Gatorade, huge contract with Nike. Now there's an influx of WNBA fans, so now you're starting to see and recognize the WNBA women that you probably haven't seen and recognized before. Aja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, right? Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, right? You're recognizing all of these ladies, all these girls because of one person. So when Usain goes on to break the record in 08, everybody's seeing him. But then on top of that, they're recognizing like, oh, well, we have a guy who was running up against Usain, right? Who is that guy? That's a Tyson Gay. That's a Justin Gatlin. Okay, so next time they meet, now we can understand who that person is. We have somebody to root for against their guy. So now it kind of brings that competition aspect together, and everybody's kind of bringing in, kind of throwing their chips in the basket, throwing their chips in the bucket. Like, yeah, this is my guy. It's going up against their guy. We've been talking about this. We've been anticipating this for the longest time. So even when you have races like today with Noah Lyles, Ariane Knighton, with Kenny Bernard, Tobogo, who ended up winning in 200 meters today, you have that suspense because Noah has been on the record for not only being part of the LGBTQ plus IA community, which I didn't even know that. I'm not even gonna lie to you, so I'm not gonna sit up there and say that that's facts, which I didn't when I'm not too positively sure on that. But you have him with his comments towards the NBA and the basketball, and you have him not only saying those comments, but he's going out there and he's proving it with the win in the 100 meters.
Right.
And you have him coming back, and now there's big suspense, and there's big races, and there's big names that he's racing against in the 200. And you have this young kid in Ariane Knighton. He's only freaking 19, 20 freaking years old, and he wasn't even supposed to race. So the stories is there. And you have Kenny Bernard, who missed the Tokyo Olympics because of injury, and then he doubled back with Colt. Like, there's this whole bunch of stuff. So now everybody's like, damn, I know that guy, I know that guy, I know that guy, I know this guy. Like, oh shit, now I'm rooting for hella other people because they're going up against that guy or they're chasing that time. So now
facts,
something to root for. Now I have something that I'm paying attention to. And I think that's the ultimate point that those guys are missing, is that a lot of people will hear something or will see something that's related to something that they see or that they're normally used to seeing. And now they have something to shift their energy, shift their focus onto something that is brand new and something that they can support. Right. So I think that's just that's the main point of that right there. But that's a really good ass that's a really dope ass
it's a good conversation, man. Like
conversation. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Because they told me I was going crazy, and I was like, nigga, I cannot be going this crazy. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, nah, that was a really good ass, really good conversation. So before we get up out of here, we're gonna get some current events going on in the Olympics right now. Like we said, Gabby Thomas wins the 200. Noah Lyles ended up coming in third in the 200 finals. There was news that he was battling COVID. He was diagnosed with COVID and still ended up coming in third place. For those who don't know, Sha'Carri Richardson also ended up in third place or second place in her respective heat. The women's 4x1, I think, final is on Saturday or Sunday. I got to check on that. So I think they are probably going to end up leaving with the gold medal. Sydney McLaughlin not only goes for gold today, but beats the world record. Yeah, in outstanding, legendary fashion.
She bad too. I'm just telling y'all.
Man, ain't that the truth? And we're gonna get just a little bit of basketball talk before we get up out of here. USA barely scrapes by Serbia in a really close match. I think the final score came out to 94-96 to 92-93. So it was a really close game. 14-point comeback. Steph Curry had 36 points. LeBron with 14 points, 10 assists. KD off the bench had 12 points. Joel Embiid had 15 points. So it really took a really group effort. Quick thoughts about USA basketball's comeback today and the matchup against France gold medal game.
I mean, okay, so USA versus Serbia today. Jokic is probably the best player in the world. Let's just keep it a buck. But also I still feel like USA, excuse me real quick. I still feel like USA should be flying through these niggas. I'm not gonna lie to you. Here's what I will say. Moo will appreciate this. Moo, you will. You might give me a standing ovation for this, but nonetheless, Steve Kerr fucking sucks as our coach. He sucks. He's not putting together good lineups. None of that. He's garbage.
He finally did one thing right today, which was draw up a play to get everything started.
But nonetheless, I mean, USA is coasting again just because of their talent, but they can't coast for long. I think Serbia is going to get there, especially with Jokic on their team. I do think that Spain was on their way with the Gasol brothers. I still think that Spain has a very, very good team now, moving forward. And what I do also think is you're going to see a lot of Americans who can't make the USA team break off and go join some of these smaller Olympic teams.
Play for their respective countries.
Right. I just want to remind y'all, RJ Barrett, Jamal Murray. Who am I missing here?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Shai.
SGA. All these guys are from Canada. Dylan Brooks. They're from Canada. So, with all of being Canadian, they can't make the team because they're already played on the Canada team. They're stuck there for the rest of their Olympic careers. And that's a very, very scary.
That's why USA.
I do predict in the next 10 to 20 years, USA will not win the Olympic gold medal. Not because of a lack of talent, though, but I think it will be a repeat of like 2003, 2004, when you have an influx so big, you got to put young players and older players on the team, and they won't mesh.
They won't mesh well. Yeah, I think
right. I think that's the 2001 team is one of the things where it's like I feel that's where that didn't happen because LeBron, Melo, and Wade came in 03, 04, and AI, Tim Duncan, Steph Marbury, they were only like 5 years apart.
Yeah.
So like LeBron was 18, but Tim Duncan was 23, and it was just like, nigga, you can't tell me what to do. Melo was 18, Stephon Marbury was 23. Like, yo, chill. And not only that, the team just fucking sucked when you go back and look at it. It was a very poorly put together team. If Richard Jefferson is your best shooter, you're bound to lose.
And there's a problem. That's definitely a problem. But yeah, no, I think that's fair. They definitely have a test with the gold medal game coming up against France. France nearly scraped by Germany today. So it's definitely going to be a test. I think they can't come out sluggish, and they can't allow France to get hot from three because that's exactly what happened today against Serbia. Serbia just didn't miss from three, and they got to capitalize on the miss and capitalize on the mistakes. Wembanyama, Evan Fournier, Rudy Gobert, even though he has been playing well in these Olympics, they're not boys. They're not ones to play with. So them boys gonna have to come out and be on their toes for this gold medal game that's coming up on Sunday, or no, on Saturday actually. But without further ado, DJ Michael B, final thoughts, man.
Oh man, my final thoughts. I told y'all earlier I had to drop a bombshell. Look, I'm very happy I got to do PVT tonight because I really, really hated I missed the basket, and I hated that I missed Gentleman's Talk because y'all boys was cooking. But going forward here for the next month and a half, it is with great regret I have to give you guys the news that my schedule has pushed back. I won't probably be getting off work until 10 o'clock at night. So just moving back, not getting off work at 10 o'clock at night. I can't be on the show. PVT, I can for the most part. If they start at 10 o'clock, if they start at 10, I can always be here. A little bit after, I can always be here. A little bit before, I can always jump in and give my 2 cents. But for the most part, especially because I go in at 7 o'clock and I'm supposed to work 7 to 10 every day. If I'm too tired, man, I can't get on. But basket to basket and Gentleman's Talk, you will definitely not see me for at least a month and a half. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. You know, I got fans. I got people that listen to this podcast. I got people that listen to this podcast for me. But it is what it is, man. I just want to say I'm sorry to everybody because I know y'all come on here. You want to hear me, GQ, Moo, Mr. Gent. As far as I go on, I mean, y'all know already what time it is, but I'm not going forever. I'll be right here. If I get off from work early enough, I'll chime in on PVT, but I know for sure I won't be off early enough for basket to basket or Gentleman's Talk. So here's what I will say. GT, y'all go ahead and do y'all thing. Basket to basket. For sure, y'all go ahead and do y'all thing. This is not goodbye forever. This is see you guys later. I will be back. And I hope Moo keeps this late start time so I can at least jump on a PVT on Fridays within 10 to 20 minutes of y'all going live.
Yeah. Hey, well, you know, we're going to miss you, big dog, when you got to do what you got to do. You know, PVT is always a late show. So if you got the time, just like I tell everybody, feel free to pull up because your boy Moo always want to see you and always want to hear what you got to say. Without further ado, with that being said, make sure you guys catch the rest of the shows throughout the rest of the week. Inside the Huddle tomorrow, Basket to Basket on Monday, Gentleman's Talk on Wednesday, PVT right back here again on Thursday, and then again on Friday. Inside
the best damn football show on the internet, period.
Feel me? Coined by the one and only DJ Micah B. So Like I said, we're gonna miss my dog. Y'all gonna see him in these streets. Y'all gonna see him up on these panels. Y'all gonna see him up on screen. Just give him some time. Like he said, this ain't a goodbye. This is I see you later. We had, like I said, Willie will be back next week. Tank was running on a little empty, had to get some Z's in, you know what I'm saying? He's supposed to have Mel, but he had to step out a little bit, handle some things. Apparently, he running away from DJ Michael B. Don't worry about it.
Hey, if I was Mel, I would run away from me too. Y'all better hope I don't get off work on time to jump inside the huddle tomorrow. I won't, but I'm just saying.
Man. My boy Dre was supposed to slide through, but you know how these things work, man. Technology, guess, life happens, man. But like I said, make sure y'all catch the rest of the show throughout the rest of the week. Catch us back next week. Catch us on Monday, and make sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. Send it out when you see us go live. Comment, and if you want to be a guest, hit the inbox, tap in with me. We always welcome everybody to come up here, talk your shit, get your voices off, and remember. Wash your ass, brush your teeth, make sure you put on deodorant because summer is not over. We're going to see y'all later. Peace.
Girl, you rockin' like